The real magic was Vince Neil. What he went through and his struggles and how he performed and how he sang, I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. He did such a great job, and I was so proud of him because I knew what hell he went through.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
It's funny the things we talk about. Rock star and 35-year radio veteran. Before we start the conversation, we talk about all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well, man. You just commented on the weather behind me. Have you been keeping tabs on the Detroit sports teams, the Tigers, the Red Wings kicking off tonight and everything?
No, I don't really keep up with sports, and I know I should, but I'm always just picking and doing all that stuff. But so yeah, fill me in. What's going on?
Well, the Tigers are, as we record this now, the Tigers are going into Game 5 tomorrow. It's do or die against Seattle. That's at 8 o'clock, so 5 o'clock your time tomorrow.
Now, aren't the Dodgers doing really well too?
Perhaps. Yeah, I think so. I think they're still in it too. I'm not a huge baseball fan myself, but this time of year I try to keep tabs on them a little bit. So
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are doing really well. I mean, so it's exciting. It's the only thing I could do other than play guitar was hit a ball and throw a ball. No joke. It's the only other thing I can do.
well, have you hit or thrown a ball lately?
Yes, and it's so weird. Like it's just one of those things. I can go to the batting cages and hit like a super fast ball with no problem. I just go boop, boop, boop. Every time they're like, "What the hell?" And there's the guys that are practicing every day, and for some reason, I don't know what it is. I could just hit a ball and throw a ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have to get you to some batting practice and maybe to throw out the opening pitch for the Tigers.
Yeah, that'd be great. Can you imagine? But no joke. The other person that can do that can throw and has incredible aim. I'm not joking. You would never guess is Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, right.
His aim, his aim is unbelievable. That's the only other person I've met that can really, really has incredible perfect aim. I was like, that's hilarious.
Wait a second. Did you guys play catch on tour or something? How do you know this?
No, he would. What would he do? I forget what he would do. Like we'd be somewhere and he would have a water bottle and I would say, "Oh, watch me. I'll hit that tree from the next town over or something." And he said, "Oh, I can do that too." And he's got perfect aim. Like it's just hilarious.
All right, we got to work on this. It's funny. It's like I celebrate my 30th anniversary here at Riff in 3 weeks, okay?
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. I have never gotten asked or had gotten to throw out the opening pitch. None of this stuff, right? Nothing. I don't win awards. I don't do any of that stuff. Zach Myers from Shinedown, they asked him to throw out the opening pitch, and he kind of said, okay, fine. But then he gave it to his kids. So his 9-year-old kid's thrown out an opening pitch in Detroit before I have. The world ain't fair. 5, I'm telling you.
Life is not fair. I'm telling you. It's just not fair.
All right, let's stop about this.
Let's make this happen. Let's start a thing. Let's make this happen. You're gonna throw out that pitch.
Yeah, maybe you and I next year we can each have like a catcher behind the plate, both of us, and just zing.
Yeah, there you go.
You're going to be in town at District 142 coming up on November 19th and Machine Shop November 20th. You got a new record dropping tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in just a minute as well. But first of all, your tour with Richie Kotzen, and I've only had the chance to see Richie Kotzen a few times, but I was just telling someone earlier, that dude is insanely talented.
Oh, yeah. It's incredible. I love a great singer. Because I can't sing at all. I'm good with a couple of hey heys and a girls and whoa yeah. I'm okay. I can do that, but to have like a great singer, and he's got such a phenomenal voice on top of being a great guitar player. It's it's like wow, and his voice is really amazing. Really amazing.
Yeah, he's like Chris Cornell like.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. He's like Chris Cornell like.
And obviously you know him well enough to go out and tour with him, right? You've known him for a few
Oh
years.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be wonderful. And it's going to be a great tour. We're heading out very soon, and we're going to start in San Diego and then go all across these great United States.
Yeah. So Ghost drops tomorrow. So tell me about this record.
Well, what I wanted to do, it's named after the guitar, the actual one I'm holding here, and it was there's a lot that went into this record. I always think, I know this sounds crazy and people are going to roll their eyes, but I believe that I'm living with ghosts, and there's so many ghosts around all of us. But I just feel like it's that kind of thing. And I did a lot of research, like in your dreams, like if you have dreams about friends or family that have passed and they don't talk to you, they're coming to visit you, so there's no words. You just communicate uh, at a different way. I know it's hard to explain. And that's kind of what this record is about. There's no words, obviously. It's just my love of music, and I took a long time with this record, and I released all these singles and put all these videos out, and just took my time with it. And I would, like, if I wrote a certain song, I would play it for like 2 weeks straight and then go into the studio and record it that way. And if I messed up, I would start over at the top because I didn't want any punch-ins. I just wanted to do it as a performance. So I just love this record. There's so many, and I love Steely Dan, and I love how they took all these different musicians for certain songs, and that's kind of like what I did as well.
Oh,
It's really cool.
what other musicians are on there?
So I have Stephen Perkins, who's Jane's Addiction fame, and he is on Deviant. I have Kenny Arnoff, who is on Fiend, and we all know Kenny Arnoff. I have Greg Bissonette, who is absolutely incredible. David Lee Roth. I think he plays with Ringo right now, which he does. Um, he's on the album. I have Marco Miniman, who's one of my favorites from the Aristocrats. I have Matt Bissonette playing bass on Moonglow. I have, of course, my drummer, Alex Mercado, who's absolutely incredible. And I have Tommy Lee on there too. So I have all these different musicians, and it's so great. It just because I really thought about each song, and I go, who would be great for this? Who would be great for that? And thanks to Steely Dan for their perfectionist. I just love perfection, and it came out wonderful.
Yeah, I love Steely Dan. So you've obviously played with some big bands, Zombie and Manson. Now you've been with Motley Crue and stuff. Does that afford you the chance to go off and just do your own thing and just like kind of get your yayas out and kind of create other things besides playing Home Sweet Home every day or whatever?
I've always done this. Like, I guess I've been doing the instrumental thing for a long time. I don't know how many years now, but a long time. Like ever since I guess I did my first record in 2005 maybe, or 2004, so almost 20 years. And it was right after I left Manson, and yeah, it was I've been doing it for a long time, and I love it. I just love it so much because I just love pushing myself and making these crazy songs and going on these crazy tours. It's just so much fun, and I'm so thankful that I found this avenue, and I can go out and play and do this. I mean, I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, the Ghost drops, like I said, on October 10th. as we record this tomorrow night. So I have to ask you about the residency with Motley. You know, the thing that Nikki did with that golden guitar pick, I thought was ingenious. It's obviously not the most original idea, but I can't think of another guy who's done that before. Has that happened before?
I don't think so. Hold on. Did I lose you? There
Oh,
you are.
yep.
Hold on. I don't know, but I thought that was such an incredible idea.
Yeah.
It was a really, really great idea. He threw so many picks out, and his tech one night put the golden pick in there. So Nicky didn't even know when it was going out. And he just has this cup full of picks, and he would throw it up in the air, and everybody would scamper for him. And but yeah, someone got it, which is what a smart idea.
No, it always reminded me of course, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, but it reminded me.
Yeah, Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it reminded me of do you ever watch The Office where they're putting the golden ticket for free paper and they all ended up at the same place?
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
No,
That's so funny.
no, but I thought that was such a great idea, and I was kind of watching along to see who was going to get this pick. But how'd the residency go? What do you think of doing shows like that? You're staying in the same place. Did you go through the same routine every day?
So here's the thing. I was so excited for it because I've never done a residency and I've always wanted to do a residency. I love Vegas. I love the desert. And I was I was so excited. I was so excited. And we get there and I have my hotel room and the guys were just after a show, they'd fly home.
Hmm.
And I just stayed and I enjoyed because I love being on the road. I like the hotel, I like the room service, I like the whole thing. So I mean I came back a couple times here and there, but the real magic was Vince Neil. What he went through and his struggles and how he performed and how he sang, I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. He did such a great job, and I was so proud of him because I knew like what hell he went through, and I was so happy for the guy.
Yeah, that's great, man. It looked like he sang great,
Hmm.
as well. And man, and and that was less than a year ago that happened, right?
Yeah, dude, bad. Like what he said, he even said it. He was like in a wheelchair, and then he had to learn how to walk again. And I was like, oh my God, the struggle and the how terrifying that must have been. So that was the real magic of that residency. And I'm telling you right now, every single show was amazing. There wasn't a bad show. And I listen and I read those comments and I listen and I'm so focused in on every show. And every show was awesome. I was so proud of him.
Was there a point in your mind when you found out what happened to Vince that you might never be able to play with Motley again?
Well, I wasn't sure. I was nobody really knew anything,
Right.
and I would text with Vince, and he would say, "Oh, I'm doing good," and things like that. But no one really knew what was going on. You heard rumblings, and so it was wild. There's
Yeah.
Churro. Churro, say hi.
All your animals don't have any hair. They must be cold.
I know they are, and but this hair is naturally just sticks out of his head like that.
That's awesome.
What do you think, Churro? That's right.
No, that's great. What were the highlights of the show for you? Like each night, or was it something different every single night?
So they had this thing like in Kiss Alive 2 where I would go up on these risers, at the end of Kickstart My Heart or during the whole song actually. So you go up on these risers. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram because there's a lot of pictures of it, but you go up on these risers just like in Kiss, and you're going up and up. And we were at the top of the venue, me and Nikki. Nikki was on one side, I was on the other. And, we get up there during the song. But what other bands like Kiss did, like they would get strapped in and get all set up and like before the song start. Oh no, not us. During the song, me and Nikki had to get up there while still playing, you know.
Mhm.
And we'd have to get up on the risers while we were playing. And I was like, "Hey, are we gonna be strapped in? Like, they're like, no, you're not strapped in." I'm like, oh, okay. So there was this little metal bar that kind of went around, and so I luckily just figured out I'm gonna put my arm around the metal bar and play, so I could like hold on if something happened, God forbid. So we're up there, and we did it at rehearsal, and we were like, it's kind of, we just have to concentrate and hold on. So the first show, I'm going up, going up, going up, and I have my arm around, and I'm like playing and all this stuff. Then the confetti cannons come, and no one told me the confetti cannons are coming. So I'm playing at the time that you can watch this. At the time the confetti cannons go, I'm playing the solo and Kickstart My Heart. So not only am I trying to balance and not fall and kill myself, play on time and in tune, and confetti is in my, I mean, I am covered. I can't see my hand in front of my face. And no safety harness or anything. And it was the greatest.
That's awesome. Like a kiss moment.
A total kiss moment. It was awesome. It was so fun. It was just a blast. Yeah. We had, I mean, me and Tommy, like, we just had, dude, we had so much fun. Like his birthday was the last show. We had these, you know, for our birthdays, we're always together on our birthdays. So like it's like a pact. We have to be together. So it was a show day, and I got him these. We both had these penis squirt guns, which I think is so smart. Like, why aren't these like a thing? But I guess they are a thing because I got them these penis squirt guns, and it's like you hold the balls and you just squeeze the trigger and it comes out of the penis. And so he loves this. So he's like just having so much fun and stuff. And he takes it to the meet and greet. And so he's squirting everybody at the meet and greet, and it was just we just every day we had a blast. It was just so much fun.
Well, I can tell we're going to use for the reel for the internet from this interview.
Yeah, yeah,
No, that's great. So I asked your brother-in-law and your sister like what I should talk to you about a little while ago, and they said on one of the stops you're going to make on this tour coming up with Richie Kotzen, you're actually playing in New York at a place you played with Les Paul. Tell me about that night.
yeah. So a magical night. It was the worst night of my life and the best night of my life. So my dad passed a few nights prior,
Hmm.
and I was like just so down. I was just like really, really bad. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, Les Paul is playing at his club, the Iridium, and Jim Marshall's going to be there, the creator of Marshall amps." And they go, "Why don't you come down?" And I was so like just in such a bad way. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come down and just watch the great Les Paul and enjoy this music.
And what year?
So, um, this was probably, let's see, um, so many traumatic things have happened to me. I can't remember years, because it's like a mental block. But it was when I was playing with Zombie during Ozfest.
Okay.
Um, so anyway, so I am there, and I always travel with my guitar. It's like my whoopee or something. I always have my guitar, and I meet Les, and I said, "Oh, can I keep my guitar back here?" When I watch show, and he was like, "Absolutely." We hang out, we enjoy, and he's inviting these people up on stage, these great musicians. I mean, incredible musicians. And so he cuts on them after. He's like, keep practicing, kid. You'll get somewhere." And these guys were incredible, you know, incredible. So I was like, oh wow, like, these guys are so good. And then he goes, we got an odd looking fella here tonight. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get up there and I don't know any of these songs. Like, and he goes, his name's John Five. Let's hear it for him. And I was like, oh no, I was so like not in that place. And I get up there and I'm thinking he's gonna like just say the craziest things about me and all that stuff. And I get up there, I'm telling you, I'm being honest with you. I don't know what happened, but all the stars aligned and I just played and it was incredible. And after the song, I got off the stage right away and thanked him. But he said, come back here, come back here. And he goes, son, I've seen a lot of guitar players and you impress me. I don't get impressed a lot and you impress me. I want you to play my Christmas special. And it was so emotional. This is a night I'll never forget. It was from the worst night and turned into the best night. It was an incredible time that happened in my life. Insane. So I'm going to play that, the Iridium. I'm going to do 2 nights there and super excited about that.
Yeah, it's great. You just mentioned Ozfest, and I haven't talked to you since the passing of Ozzy. But give me an Ozzy story or something that you remember about the Prince of Darkness. What do you recall about Oz?
Um, you know, everybody has these Aussie stories and they're crazy and they're fun and they're funny. And but it's because we did a lot of shows and a lot of tours with Ozzy. But what happened with Ozzy, we would have these conversations, like normal conversations. And it was wonderful because everybody, was like, oh, Ozzy and blah, blah, blah. But we would sit down and have these normal conversations. And it was wonderful. It wasn't like the crazy Ozzy. Um, and I think that's so different than everybody else's stories. Everybody else's stories were this and that and the madness and all this stuff. But we sat down and had such great conversations about music and health and life and all that stuff. And it was wonderful. It was so wonderful to be in his presence. And I got a chance to play with him. And we did some jams and all that stuff. And we had a lot of fun. And there will never be, people say this a lot, but there really will never be another Ozzy because not only was he brilliant and his voice, but he created something that will live on forever. I mean, he's like, they created heavy metal. It's like Henry Ford, like creating the automobile or something. Like he was so important
Hmm.
to music and to us. And how lucky are we that we got to spend time with him, listen to him, see him live? Because this is, Ozzy will live on for so long. It's like, Lincoln or something. We got a chance to see him live and enjoy while it was happening because we're going to be talking, people will be talking, not us who will be gone, but people will be talking about Ozzy for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And so we're lucky, and we're so lucky that we got the albums and the shows and the memories.
Yeah. Was there a chance that you could have gone to back to the beginning, or were you watching it all? Did you see any of that?
um yeah, I was actually, yeah, I got a call from Murillo saying, hey, there might be an open spot. You want to do this? And I said, of course. I'm there. Just whatever you need. And he goes, okay, just hang tight, and I was like, absolutely. I'm, whatever I'll be there. It doesn't matter. I'll be there 100%. So, but yeah, they didn't need me, but at least I got that call saying, "Hey, we might need you," and I was, you know, of course, there in 1 second if I needed to be, and I just watched it, and life is a funny thing because we can't explain what happens, like we've all had people that have passed, and when you go to the hospital and all the families around, but you always hear, "Oh, well, that person, we're waiting for that person to get to here to the hospital, and they sense their being or something like that in the hospital, and then that person passes." And I think that's, you know, what do I know? I don't know anything, but like with Ozzy and that send off, it was, that's just proof that there is something so much bigger and so great out there that we can't even explain. Because Ozzy, that performance was chilling. It was incredible. He was incredible. I had tears in my eyes, and then he was gone. And those are things we can't explain,
Right.
And he was so special. He was so special. I miss him every day, and I don't think that will ever go away.
Now, wrapping things up here. By the way, you talked about the ghost earlier, and you do have a ghost story you told me one time about where you saw a woman in the doorway of your room.
It's true.
Did
It's
you have any other ones?
No, that's the only time that's ever happened, and that absolutely happened. And I was so awake. I was like, okay, I'm awake, and I'm telling myself I'm awake, and I'm looking at that doorway, and I'm like, I'm awake, and I'm looking at that doorway, and I'm looking at a ghost, and I take my arm, not taking my eyes off of the image, and I'm hitting my wife hard. I'm like, wake up, and still staring, wake up, wake up. And, people's eyes take a minute she didn't understand. But yeah, it was really there. It was incredible.
That's crazy. So, what do you got coming up in 2026? Can you say anything about anything you have lined up yet?
Well, I'm doing a show at the NAMM show, I do this thing called the J5 NAMM Jam, and it's the fifth annual. And in January, and this time we're having Living Color.
Oh,
So,
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, so we're going to do that. I'm going to do a show in Northern California. And then this is really nuts. I'm going to do 50 shows, 50 states in 50 days. So 50 shows in a row, start in Alaska, hit all these states, every day a different state. And I think I'm going to do over 50 because we have Washington, D.C. and things like that. And then we're going to finish in Hawaii.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
can you
crazy.
can you take me with you, a 30-year veteran of WRIF?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? After show 16, you'd be like, I got to get out of here.
I'm sure.
Um,
Well, five, we're going to see you twice, District 142 on November 19th and the Machine Shop, two of our favorite places coming up on November 20th. The Ghost is out on October 10th. And of course, we'll see you soon. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, dude.